You're watching Ladies in the Locker Room. We'll be right back. Hey, what's going on, Lindsay Lane?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to see you. How was your week?
It was great. Looking forward to next week and the NFL starting week one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, look, I know. Tell everybody, your name and where you are and all that good stuff.
I'm Lindsay Lane and I'm from Orange County, California.
And I'm Hattie Lemon right here in the ATL. So, Lindsay, you're out in California. There's a lot going on with these wildfires and all of that. You're not anywhere near any of that, are you?
No, I'm not right now. Those are up in Tahoe. The biggest one is up in Tahoe right now. But we've broken two records with two different fires in the last month or so, and it's just getting scary. So
I know.
wildfires are just burning up an entire state. Like if you look at California, it's just filled with areas that have wildfires right now.
Last year was in the down under. The same thing happened where they just felt like it was just burning up the whole area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. Sometimes there's fires out in San Diego Canyon, which is pretty close to my house. If you look like mile wise, it looks a lot closer to me than it really is. But there's a freeway and a bunch of stuff it can't jump so far, knock on wood. And but it does get relatively close. So, but I mean, there's weather all over the state right now. You have the hurricanes, and you have New York, which flooded completely.
All over the country, not all over the state, all over the country.
Well, and then that's the huge hurricane, and then up in New York when it flooded, that's
which
just scary.
Came from the hurricane. It started down Louisiana, Mississippi, and came on up the eastern seaboard and ended up in New York and New Jersey. So there's been and then they would talk. I was watching, I guess, a news program today, and they were saying how in history there hadn't been a situation where these type of storms made it that far inland.
Yeah.
Like up in New York and in New Jersey. And of course, in New Jersey, we have the Jersey Shore and all that. And in New York, they've got areas too. But they were talking about how much damage and how much devastation it was. So anyway, we're gonna keep you
on the anniversary. I think Katrina too. So that's
right.
That's scary in itself.
Let me tell you, when Katrina happened, I happened to get a chance to go through Mississippi and New Orleans on my way to Houston. I went to All-Star Weekend that year because it was in Houston. And what happened is I had to go through New Orleans, but I'd never been, so I didn't know. I'm just following the directions. And I saw, because it was just at the point where they were letting people in, we were passing through. So I saw a lot of that devastation. And I saw so many, and I know the people that live there, it's unbelievable. I'm going to tell you two things that I saw. One, I saw an ocean barge right up in the middle of a neighborhood and sitting on a house. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, how can they say there's nobody dead in that house? Because the barge is up, the water just pushed it right up into the house. Then the pressure of the water, I saw three, what we call row houses, jammed up together like this. So they're crunched in together. And again, I'm like, how can they say nobody's dead in here? Because it's the house in the middle of the two outside houses. So that devastation was just riding through. And when people were able to go through and I was able to get in there, was devastating. Just seeing it, it was really a trip. So we're going to keep our prayers out to the people in Mississippi and in Louisiana, and those states and all the people hit by. And I have friends and family down in New Orleans as well, and also in Mississippi. Now, my friends from Mississippi, they've made it to the ATL. The house is totally damaged. The car, a tree fell on it, but it was drivable, so they got in it and they headed to the A. I haven't heard yet from my cousin in New Orleans, so we'll keep all of those families in our prayers.
Definitely.
Yeah. And you too in the wildfires out there in LA. So anything, other than your sports quickie, anything else striking you on in sports this week?
Um, there, there's a lot this week that's been going on like I said, most excited about week 1 coming up. And the Chargers starting to play finally. I feel like it's been forever. I don't know why I feel like that, but it does. I mean, we did have preseason, so like it kind of gave me a little taste of it, and I got to go to a game, so that was fun. But I'm really excited.
Which your preseason game?
Yeah, I went and saw the Rams and Chargers, and they played in their stadium for the first time for my dad's birthday. So we surprised him with tickets, and we went. The game was great, yeah. But I'm excited to see like our full team come together and play. And yeah, there's just a lot of sports going on this week, from like the US Open to the Paralympics, kind of wrapping up, and then college football starting. So college football started, which is exciting as well.
Yes. College football, kickoff classic, all that happened this weekend as well. Now, I saw something today that made me think of you. I saw women's soccer. And it was on today, and it was, 2 big teams playing, my Orlando and I didn't even think of the other one, but I immediately thought of you. I'm like, wow. And they were talking about the ladies and how decorated some of these ladies are in women's professional soccer. So it was really, really good.
One of the something that happened this week is that the men are going through qualifiers for the World Cup, and they played El Salvador. And they tied 0-0. Which, I mean, over the years we've talked about it. The men's team, especially since they didn't make the last World Cup, have been kind of like, I don't know, people have been like kind of shaming them a little bit recently, especially because the women have done so well. So they are playing, and then they got so they get 1 point for a tie, which is good. We have a whole new team this year. A lot of the guys are really young. The guy that wore the captain's armband for the game was the youngest player to ever wear it for the United States in a World Cup qualifier, and he's 22 years old, which is great. We have a whole new group, and they've done really well this year, so I'm really looking forward to watching more of that, and hopefully this year our guys will qualify, because in 2018 they lost to Trinidad and Tobago, and that was kind of one of those really upsetting moments. And then the women were like, see how many World Cups we've won, and I think
the guys get paid more money, but the women have won more World Cup.
Exactly.
We still have that going on, the whole discrepancy about how all the guys make all the money, but the women are winning all the World Cups.
Yeah, and I think that the highest they've gotten was, I think, like 3rd place, and that was in 1986. So hopefully the guys can justify their paycheck this year.
Hopefully. All right, well, let's take a pause for the cause. We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back.
Hello guys, my name is Gloria. I am an instructor at LA Fitness Atlantic Station. I teach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on Saturdays we hike. We go to a different location. Our classes are 5:45 at Atlantic Station. There's kickboxing, there's body work, there's power circuit, everything you can imagine. And then we hike. We hike Kennesaw, Stone Mountain, the Palisades. We go everywhere. Come out and join us. Find out what your mission is and have fun while you do it. You can find me on Facebook, Gloria Jackson, and I want you to have fun while you get fit. Come join me.
All right, all right. Well, as you said, there is a lot going on in sports. Amazingly, I think that they're really just kind of just letting it go. I know we still have COVID cases and COVID is still on the rise, but one of the things that I noticed with the football yesterday, the stadiums were packed and you didn't see as many masks. You saw
Yeah.
some, but it wasn't mandatory. And so whoever wanted to wear one wore one, and whoever didn't. And the majority did not. And then we're going into this Labor Day weekend. And it's just the science has proven that after every major holiday since we've had COVID is when more cases pop out. Um, Kids are going back to school, college kids, elementary, high school kids going back to school. Here in Georgia, they are talking about setting up COVID testing sites right outside in the parking lot of the schools, so that they can try to get a handle on the COVID. And people are not getting shots and they don't believe in it. And now this new variant, they're saying is worse than the last one. So we're going to see what's going to happen with that.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully it starts to get better. It's gotten pretty bad recently, definitely. And in California, we have still mask mandates in LA, and I feel like LA's only had a couple weeks when they weren't mandated. So yeah, we're feeling it in California for sure.
Same in Atlanta. I mean, we Atlanta. Now let me just rephrase that. Atlanta has been more wide open than many states, and the COVID cases they came down at one point. I mean, even during I want to say the height of the pandemic, you had people from other states coming into Atlanta to party. I know we had a Chicago takeover, we had a New York takeover. Brooklyn takeover. It's like other states were shut down during COVID, but they came to Atlanta to party because our clubs and restaurants were open. The problem they're having now, they don't have enough staff to run these restaurants. So hopefully people will get back to work and hopefully COVID will get down. But we're going to get ready for sports quickies. Get ready. Sports quickies. All right.
Do you want me to start? Do you want me to start it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, since today is the end of the Paralympics, I kind of just wanted to mention a few sports. The U.S. men wheelchairs basketball, they won gold. The gold. Japan came close to winning, but the men came back and they won 64-60. The United States came back from a 5-point deficit in the fourth quarter that featured 5 ties, 3 lead chairs, and no lead greater than 8 points. That by winning the silver medal, Japan produced the highest Paralympic finish ever, both men and women, and became the first Asian nation to reach a gold medal game in men's wheelchair basketball. The U.S. sittings volleyball team, they defend their gold. They beat China in the last day of competition. The team defended their title 3-1 victory after nearly missing the competition. 2 members of the United States team tested positive for COVID-19 during training camp and delayed the team's arrival, with some members not arriving in Tokyo until the night before the game. Many had doubts about their ability to compete in their first game in pool play, but they came back and they ended up winning. So I was going to talk just a little bit before I go into football about the U.S. Open. A couple big things kind of happened. Naomi Osaka, she lost, and she announced that she was going to be taking a break from tennis for her mental like she was pretty much the same stuff that was going on during the Olympics, kind of getting, she said she was not happy anymore. She said that even when she won, she wasn't even happy. And if you go back and watch the way she talked about how miserable she was playing tennis, it just kind of, it breaks your heart. And it kind of, I think it's very positive that she is going to take some time at the moment for herself.
Can we pause it for just a second before you move on from Naomi? I'm glad that she took the time before, but as we're seeing, she tried to come back and just tried to get through the Olympics and everything, but it just takes time. It takes a lot of time. My heart really goes out to her because, it's sad when you're so young and you have so much going for you, and just a simple thing like just be happy, and she can't, and she's not happy. So I definitely think she's making the right choice of taking that time and seeking some help, and just go enjoy being a young person, and forget about all of that stuff, and just go just be happy being a young person, and maybe that would help her. But I just wanted to just stop for a minute there and just say, we want to send our prayers to her, because it just saddens my heart that to see these, and you know what it is, it's all that competitiveness and that pushing. Since they were babies, they've been practicing and pushing and trying to get here and trying to do this, and they did it, and now it's like that hasn't ended. They're still practicing and pushing and going and going and going. I think it's time for her to sit back and just relax and even retire if that's what it takes. Retire. You've done enough. Now retire from this and go somewhere and make yourself happy. Go find out what makes you happy, because obviously tennis ain't it. Yeah. Like she said, she won and she wasn't even happy. That says a lot.
Yeah, I think there was some people that came on after that were talking about their experience when they were playing as well. And they were saying that sometimes because tennis is mostly a one-person game, and they would go back to their hotel room and just break down because they couldn't do it in front of the camera. And they just were saying how brave she was, that she, I think people were trying to have her walk off, but she's like, no, I want to explain. I want to tell everybody where I'm at and why I am in this, like why I'm choosing to take a step away from tennis. So it seems like this is a really good thing, especially with everything that time and time again. So I, like you said, wish her the best and hope she can find something that makes her happy, because she is very young and she can do whatever it is that she wants to that makes her happy. I mean, she's made a ton of money playing tennis, and
her endorsement, a ton. Now go enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Well, what?
You have a baby.
Exactly. She can
change
do that.
Her whole perspective on life. Go have a baby. She can afford it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think, she has a boyfriend. I think that's a rapper right now. Yeah. Right. So if that's what she wants to do, whatever it is.
Let's go be happy.
Exactly.
So what else you got?
Okay. So I will just, for time, I'll just go straight to football. I'll start with college football, which, so Georgia played Clemson, and Georgia beat Clemson 10-3 yesterday, which was the first time since 2014. And this is the first game that they've played without Trevor Lawrence, who, since he was a freshman, led Clemson to an undefeated regular season. And he has, at Clemson, he had the record for a career quarterback wins, losing only the 2020 national championship and the 2021 Sugar Bowl. And so Clemson, they didn't score until there was 9 minutes and 8 seconds left in the game, and but it helped them not get shut out, which would have been the first time since 2003. The Bulldogs held the Tigers to 2 yards rushing and sacked their new quarterback 7 times. And then the Bulldogs defense was the big difference in the game, and the returning, they had an interception and returned it for 74 yards to their first touchdown. And so basically my point of bringing that one up is that this was the first game Clemson, who's barely lost in the 3 years that Trevor Lawrence was their quarterback, lost yesterday to Georgia. Another story that I kind of thought was interesting was this South Carolina's starting quarterback was their assistant coach, Zeb Nolan, who was a grad assistant. Even though this is a unique thing that that has happened, it's not unheard of in college football. Because I mean, UCLA has 16 grad students, but I think what was interesting in the story was he was actually their assistant coach, and then he is now the quarterback, which kind of puts more pressure on him because as a coach, you're telling your players exactly what to do. And
but quarterbacks do that too. Quarterbacks,
yeah, and then
do from the court, from
exactly.
From the field.
But when you're the coach, you're telling your players, like, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. Like, you now have to be on point and doing those things because now you're telling people to do it, and now it's your turn to actually do it. I think there's like a little conspiracy theory out there that that this was something calculated because then you can because he was from North Dakota State and he was a backup, but he had 1 year left of eligibility. So they're saying other schools can do the same thing and be working with their new quarterback when he's a coach, when you're not supposed to be working with your players. So if you do it like that, you can kind of go around the rule, but some people are saying, no, that's not what happened. But I was just going to throw that out there, a little conspiracy theory. One of my big stories this week, Cam Newton. So the Patriots released Cam Newton last week before their week 1 start against the Dolphins. Mac Jones will now be their starting quarterback. A lot of people speculate that this could have seen this coming for a while, way back as far as the draft, when the Patriots used their first round draft pick to take Mac Jones. There are other rumors, which include Cam Newton and his COVID difficulties. He is unvaccinated and he refuses to get vaccinated. And they were saying, a lot of people were saying that is a big issue right now because of players being released. And if it's being said or it's not being said, COVID and your status with the vaccine has been seen to play a part in either keeping a player or not. And Bill Belichick, when asked, said that the COVID vaccine had nothing to do with his decision. But and then he also went on to say that there's a number of players and coaches who are being infected in training camp who have been vaccinated, and that number is pretty high. So we shouldn't lose sight that people who are even vaccinated are getting COVID as well. But the reality of that situation is that the NFL released the numbers for August, and coaches and players who were vaccinated and tested positive the people who didn't have the vaccine, they were 7 times more likely to catch the vaccine when they were not, or catch the virus when they were not vaccinated. So the NFL has also agreed on a rule that was made before, that unvaccinated players who test positive have to miss 10 days, and that includes a game, but players who are vaccinated, once they test negative, have a couple negative tests, then they can miss 3 days. So the chances of a team keeping a player who is unvaccinated, especially as big of a responsibility as a quarterback, and risk having that player miss 10 days is a very big liability. But at the end of the day, a lot of people were saying that, the margin between Cam Newton and Mac Jones wasn't huge, but Mac Jones played better than Cam Newton during the preseason. And I think just the bottom line is that it's money. Like, if your star quarterback is not going to be vaccinated and risking 10 days, that's not just a health hazard, and keeping him on also, he doesn't want to be a backup quarterback. However, keeping him on is still a liability, because if he tests positive, everybody in his orbit has to quarantine themselves as well. So that is another layer to this. At this point, Cam Newton he can go to Houston, but besides that, he could be better off if he just waited a few weeks, because football is a violent sport. So you can, so a quarterback could go out, be hurt, or injury, or even COVID with any of these teams, and he could step in that situation. So in my opinion, that would probably be his best bet, but we will see. But that was kind of like the big news this week, is him being released from the Patriots. I think the last thing I basically just had to say was that the Chargers are going to Washington to start a week 1. And we're like Justin Herbert. So last year, our offensive line was terrible, but we picked up a lot of good players. So it's going to be great to see that. Then we have Keenan Allen. Well, if we have a offensive line that stops their defense, then we have amazing talent like Keenan Allen, who had 100 receptions and ran for 992 yards and had 8 touchdowns. We have Mike Williams, who had 48 receptions and 756 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Austin Eckler, who had 54 receptions, 403 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Jared Cook, who took the spot of Hunter Henry. So we're going to see if he can fill those very large shoes. Ryan Fitzgerald is going to be starting for Washington. He's going to switch his jersey yet again. I'm just really excited to see our whole team back with our new offensive line. So hopefully we do well. The Rams play the Bears. That's my other team here at home. And they have a new quarterback, Stafford. So we will see. He's used to seeing the Bears defense, but they're most likely to win, and I hope they win, because I'm also in a fantasy football survivor pool where you pick one team each week that you think is going to win. And if they lose, you're out of the whole thing. And I picked the Rams because they're most likely to beat the Bears. But we will.
Is it just because they're your team, or is it because they're really most likely?
No, they really are most likely. They're really most likely to beat the Bears. But
okay.
If I was going to pick just my team, I'd pick the Chargers. But the Chargers are we like historically when we're supposed to win, we don't always, or we make it very difficult, or we do something in the fourth quarter. We do something in the fourth quarter that's never heard of. Like the announcers are going like, this is unprecedented. We never seen this before. Nobody's ever like tossed the ball to somebody in the end zone and 12. I don't know. Like no one's ever run. Like no team has ever run the ball back that many times against a team like and beat the Chargers when they're up by like 30. I don't like at that half. Like
you must
it's
not
like
watching the Falcons games.
I could
you
go.
Must not watch Atlanta Falcons game because some of that crazy stuff I've seen in Atlanta Falcons game.
Oh, so, well, I could go crazy story with you with the Chargers for sure, and then also our new head coach. So, Brandon Staley, who was like the defensive coach for the Rams before he came to our team. So we have a bunch of changes. Still a new-ish quarterback, second year. So hopefully he does as well as last year. But that's what I have for my sports quickie.
Well, we will see. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring in our special guest because I'm sure he'd like to chime in on some of the stuff we've got going on. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back, and we have Mr. Rodney Harrell of Rodstarr Enterprises. We'll be right back after this break right here. All right, and we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our guest for today, Mr. Rodney Harrell of Rodstarr Enterprises.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
So, Rodney, I know we're talking about a lot of stuff, but before you chime in, because I can see your facial expressions, I know you had some thoughts. Before you chime in, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and Rodstarr Enterprises.
Well, Rodstarr is pretty much our mission is to develop and facilitate a relationship with celebrities, with the community, just to build hope, faith, just restore our communities. I realize there's no one really going back into communities and pouring money into like the Boys and Girls Club, Big Sister and Big Brothers. So with my relationship with a lot of people, with athletes and celebrities, and also being involved in the community, I figured a way to put a program together that will help benefit everyone.
Okay, sounds pretty awesome. And so you're like a liaison between some of the professional athletes and the community to come together and help in the community.
Exactly. I mean, I realized, a couple of things at sporting events or any type of entertainment. People everyone comes together, no matter if you're white, black, Hispanic, or Asian, or it doesn't matter. I mean, people are high-fiving, they're hugging, they're kissing because of the sport. I mean, the world has been through enough last year dealing with the COVID. And, like you guys just got finished talking about, like all the games yesterday, the games were packed. It was like the whole world was on punishment. Now, you didn't see anybody with masks. I'm scared to find out what's going to happen next week or the next 2 weeks. But sporting events and entertainment, whether it's music or anything, comedy, people just need the love. People just want to have the idea of just coming back together, making peace or do whatever. So with Rodstarr, I figured, raising enough money, doing a couple of walks, 5K walks, or holding some events, showing people a good time. I mean, the past couple of years, we realized there's a lot of hatred in our country, a lot of deaths, a lot of unnecessary violence. So a lot of people just say, wow, don't turn the news on, don't do this. So what are you doing about it? What are you going to contribute? So I figured with Rodstarr, bringing everyone together, building hope in our communities, just to inspire change, and I figured, if you could save one, may not be able to save everyone, but you may have that particular kid or young lady, male or female, to just have that hope. But to bring the athletes, because half of us came from the hood or from these places.
To the streets.
Right, from the streets. So I figured if we can do things, raising money, putting monies back into the parks, getting the kids out from playing the video games and go outside and play. And just try
Go ahead.
And just try to live a healthy life, especially just getting their mental right.
So I was going to say, quick question. So your position in being the liaison between the athletes and the community, did you play professional sports or sports in college?
No, I did play some sports at Ramapo College in Mahwah, New Jersey, football, a little basketball, and that was about it. I had several opportunities, but
Okay. All right. And also, I spoke last week. You have an event coming up in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium of the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants.
Exactly.
And again, coming together, you're bringing out some athletes and having some folks come out and support Rodstarr Entertainment. Tell everybody a little about any of the athletes that may be involved in this organization or may be involved in that weekend.
Well, I mean, the weekend is going to be, of course, my best friend, one of the good friends, Rodney Hampton. We've been friends for over 30 years. Stephen Baker, maybe I believe Otis Anderson, a couple
Players have been invited.
Super Bowl champions, pro ballers. Give the fans a top opportunity to react and mingle with some of the guys. People like Rodney, he loves to take his Super Bowl ring off. How many people get an opportunity to put on the ring? Not many,
Tell you a story, honey. One day I met Jerry Rice, and he put all 5 of his on my hand.
Wow.
and his agent and handlers, they were having a heart attack. But
right, you can just take off, say I'm gone.
No, I stayed right there. But he said, watch this. Bam, bam. They put all 5 of them. I'm like, Jerry.
Right.
But you're right. And it is, we watch, like you said, you look at the stands with all those people with the games yesterday, and these guys go to the pros. It is you're a major opportunity to just say, hey, there's so-and-so. Can I take a picture? Can I get an autograph? And they're right there, they're front and center, and they want to talk, and they don't mind telling stories and sharing with the community. So that's going to be a pretty awesome event. Of course, I will be there.
Right.
I'll be there. My friends in Atlanta and my friends in New Jersey know that that's the one time of the year I kind of go a little bit crazy because I follow both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm really all over the place. But when I moved to Georgia, I didn't become an Atlanta Falcons fan until Michael Vick. But then I became a Michael Vick fan and then Atlanta Falcon fan. But I'm still a Giants fan for life. But it's just it's just that game only happens every couple of seasons. They don't even play every season. So this year it'll be played and it'll be up in New York, and I plan to be there. And please don't hate me if I scream for everybody to do everything, because that's probably what'll happen. I'm gonna be screaming for the whole game.
Well, I always come back home, and I just want to have the opportunity how the Giants, the organization, treats me when I fly up from Atlanta. And I come back and they were like, you did what? Oh, yeah, we did this, we did that. We went here. Just the red carpet treatment. So now I was given the opportunity to, extend the welcome back up to New York and New Jersey to mingle. to meet a couple of players, get a couple of autographs, and attend a game, lower level seats for a good price.
Right. So we will be in the house. So tell us a little bit more about, you said a 5K walk, some of the other upcoming events for Rodstarr Enterprises.
Well, I am currently Vice President of Business Development with World Sports Alumni. We have over 300 athletes, professional athletes from all major league sports, baseball, boxing, of course, football, NBA, even tennis, all the way down to pool. With the 5K is, again, just doing things in the community. My job is to bring ideas and to get the athletes involved. What we do also with World Sports Alumni is actually marketing current and retired players. You know, a lot of players you haven't heard from in a while because they've been retired. And some people are like, oh, is he still living? Or, you know, so we try to keep their names alive and keep them active in the community or build their organization.
I hear that. And that sounds like an awesome opportunity. Sounds like an awesome organization. And I look forward to working with you and assist you in any way to help continue to promote it. And, you know,
I appreciate it.
I'm really excited about it. Now, I know we were talking about college football a lot, and I know you are a UGA fan.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little about your take on the game
Dogs.
yesterday. Go Dogs!
I love your mascot. I love when you bring out that the bulldog. The bulldog. Love him. So cute.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, they love that dog. That dog is very well taken care of. You know, I moved down here from New Jersey, and I never forget my first Sunday. It was horrible. They didn't have enough fans and people in the stands to buy tickets, and we had to watch Gunsmoke. The game was blacked out, and I couldn't believe it. So I started hanging that to all the sports bars in order to watch some type of football.
Dang.
Yeah, but you know, Atlanta still is a beautiful place to live. It's funny that you were talking about Cam Newton. We were just down there not too long ago, smoking a cigar at the Fellowship. But you know, Cam's a good guy. He's a strong guy. You know, he'll bounce back.
Well, his name has been bounced around a lot. I know they were talking about Dallas and Houston and just different places. And I agree with you, Rodney. He's a good guy, and he's a big guy. If it is a COVID situation, that's going to be a situation that might land him in a problem, because when you see teams advertising and promoting that they are 100% vaccinated, they don't want, you know, COVID to come and ravish through their team in their locker rooms. So they've encouraged and educated the players and the coaches and everyone to go get vaccinated. So it is a big part of it these days. So whether the coach will admit that that's why they let him go, or he just didn't play good enough last year, which for me, I'm a Cam fan. Love Cam Newton. I've always been a Cam fan, but he didn't play good enough for me last year.
Well, I don't believe New England is a good fit for him. I believe Houston could use him. Dallas would definitely go after him. You know, but you know, we'll see.
Let's see what happens.
Like, he didn't really fit with their like style of play.
Nah, not at all. He's like a misfit. So,
actually, like Bill Belichick kind of dodged the question, said no, but Urban Meyer actually said that he came out and said it out loud. He was like one of the only coaches, and he said that COVID vaccinated player, that becomes like a reason why they picked certain players over others. But then like the team came out and said that's not true, blah, 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 and trying to cover up for it. But you know that it does. I mean, because between a 10-day, like mandatory 10 days, and then, you know, you can get back in the game if you have a couple like COVID negative tests, as if you have the vaccine. That's a huge difference.
But Lindsay, the NFL lost a lot of money last year due to the COVID. Everybody was on lockdown. We had no fans in the stands. And they're not going to tolerate one person.
Nope.
And these games are huge.
Yeah.
It's a lot, billions of dollars was lost, and these guys
Billions.
don't get their money.
Yeah. Oh
Billions.
yeah. This year they're like, we're not taking chances. Yeah, for sure.
They open the doors up, and then you got to look at it the way they open the doors up. If you're vaccinated, if you're trying to protect yourself from this, you're vaccinated, you're wearing masks. Come on in, on in and watch the game. You don't want to wear no mask, you don't want to get no vaccination. It's on you. But they got signs. They'll have signs say, we're not liable. You watch what I tell you. Right. We're not liable. They want to make sure, because they have restaurants that have those signs up too. They tell you can come in here if you want to without a mask on or with a mask on, but we will not be held accountable if you catch COVID. Watch what I tell you. That's going to be something that's going to be popping up on the outside of the doors before you enter a lot of these arenas, because these teams, like I said, they've already lost billions. They don't want people's like, I went to a game and I got COVID. Well, you kind of entered at your own risk. And like I said, watching those games yesterday, Roll Tide, that's my son. I got to say what's up to my son, Thomas. I'm pretty sure I wasn't at his house, but I'm glad I wasn't, because I know that I would have heard Roll Tide yelled several times in my ear, because he's a huge Alabama fan.
That's a great
and my sister. Great organization. And you can see it every year in the draft. A lot of those, they got a lot of guys that come out in the draft. They have a great organization, and that makes a difference. And I want to mention that, since you said that, coming from New York and being a New York Giant fan and knowing some of the players and knowing the organization itself, and then coming to Atlanta and meeting some of the players and it was so totally different. It was a big difference, and people don't understand that. When I was up in New York with the Giants, every Saturday night, the Giants was in lockdown. They was in sequester. They had to go leave their homes, their wives, their kids, everything, and go into sequester before the game. When I came to Atlanta, players were out, and I'm like, you got a game tomorrow, don't you? Like, you don't have to go stay in the house, or, and people don't understand that those are the differences that these organizations have. And it's tough on the players when they get waived or when they get, traded. You traded somewhere else. And I think that that's what happened to your boy, the wide receiver that went to the Browns. I love him. He was one of my New York Giant favorites. But going to another organization, I just think it's going to take him a minute to just kind of see his way through that. I'm glad that they want him, and I know he's good, but it's a different organization.
Well, it's just like with Rodney. A lot of players up north is totally different. These guys can't really go out anywhere because they're going to get bombarded by everybody, want an autograph or picture. They just can't wait to touch them. Here in Atlanta, they can care less, because these guys are all the time are out. You can run into them at the supermarket or at the clubs. Up north is different. It's very different.
There's more limelight.
It's the limelight, because it's different.
Well, now it's the mask. A lot of times you don't know, you definitely got to be careful. Anyway.
I even tried to get some of the people that were attending the tailgate and tickets to the game event to, like the pre-game show, to go on the field. And they were like, no, we can't have nobody near these athletes. At least they're not in the bubble like the NBA did them. So, but hey.
True.
Again, for everyone listening, Rodstarr Entertainment. Hey, Sean, we got Sean Moran from out in Tennessee. Hey, Sean. Okay, the issue is people like Ron Rivera who are
immunocompromised.
Oh, yeah, they can't take chances. Well, it's too bad. It's too bad. But thanks for your input, Sean. You'll see. It's going to be a whole nother thing, because they're going to open up. Like I said, they're not going to take a chance to lose billions of more dollars. So, like I said, you got teams that are 100% vaccinated. Coaches, players, staff. Members of the organization. Everybody, go ahead.
Hold up. The Atlanta Falcons, the whole team had to get vaccinated. That's how desperate they want to get one of these forfeit games. Maybe they win something.
They sure did. The whole no, it ain't just the whole team. It's the team. It's the It's the front office. It's the staff.
Everybody,
It's
the ball boy, everybody.
I can't say if I was the owner of the team. I always tell people, put yourself in that position. I would be the same way. Mm-hmm. I need to protect my money. So I would be the same way. Again, I just want to tell everybody, Rodney, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
No problem. Thank you.
My New Jersey fans, my Atlanta fans, we're going up to the New York Giants and Atlanta Falcons game Sunday. Well, the game is on Sunday, September the 26th. We'll be up there Saturday. We've got an event happening on Saturday night. We've got a little meet and greet. Sunday, we've got an awesome tailgate party before the game. And then you got great seats to the game. So if anybody's interested, Rodney, tell them what they need to do to get a ticket.
Well, they can go to www.rodstarr.net. That's the web page. Or they could just contact me on my cell, 404-438-6887. That's the best way to do it. I've been trying to do some things done with Eventbrite, but I want to make sure everybody get their tickets and everything else. On the 25th from 5 to 10, we're doing the meet and greet over at Regina Steakhouse and Grill with some celebrities. This way everybody would get their tickets and their wristbands. And Sunday at 9 a.m., that's the kickoff the tailgate. You can't get this nowhere. All you can eat, all the beverages you can drink, and great seats.
Great seats to the game.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I cannot wait.
I'm excited too. I'm a little nervous, but I had something even bigger, but everybody's, but
well, you start small and then
we're gonna go right.
Exactly. Next year will be bigger. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Ladies in the Locker Room. Lindsay, thank you once again.
Thank you, Rodney. Nice to meet you.
And nice to meet you, Lindsay.
Keep watching Ladies in the Locker Room Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And thank you, Sean, for definitely chiming in. 8 p.m. Sunday nights from 8 to 9. You can catch us on YouTube, Ladies in the Locker Room, or Facebook, Ladies in the Locker Room. We will see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
And good night.
All right. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.